Gentlemen, I want you to pay attention because what you're going to see is a bit of history in the making, and it's something that you're not going to see again. Our next four guests in the early 60s were undoubtedly the most famous four Irishmen in the world. They came together from Carrick-on-Suir and Keady, County Armagh, to sing songs that generations of Irish people had neglected, and they had lain dormant for generations. And in singing those songs, they sang their way into the hearts of millions of people right across the world, but particularly in America, as well as the UK and here in Ireland. And not only that, but they paved the way for a whole host of other people to do something similar in music. In the way of all good groups, after 12, 13 years in the business, they split up and they went their separate ways. And they are coming together for the first time in 15 years to do a show in the Lincoln Center in New York on May the 20th. Now, it's a beautiful place, the Lincoln Center, the Avery Fisher Hall, and it seats 3,000 people. And the booking opened last week. The show is not until the 20th of May, and already, we heard today, it is booked out to capacity, not a seat left, which will give you some idea of the measure of popularity that they have in the United States. 15 years later, they are coming together for that, and 15 years later, they are coming together on the Late Late Show tonight. So when you welcome them, you are welcoming, literally, a living legend of music, if I can put it that way. Would you welcome, please, the Clancy Brothers and Tommy Makem. How about that? How about that?
I'm the boy to please her, and I'm the boy to tease her. I'm the boy can squeeze her, and I'll tell you what to do. I'll go to like an Irish man, and I'll go and blarney too, as they done. Rolligan, Stolligan, Holligan, Mulligan, Baldo, Donahue. Well, here I am from Paddy's land, the land of fire and town. I broke the hearts of all the girls for miles from Keady town. And when they hear that I'm away, they'll raise a hullabaloo. When they hear about that handsome lad that they call Donahue. I'm the boy to please her, and I'm the boy to tease her. I'm the boy to squeeze her, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to like an Irish man of the brogue and blarney too, as they paddle. Mulligan, Holligan, Mulligan, Baldo, Donahue. I wish my love was a red, red rose growing on yon garden wall. That be a dew, the up upon her brow I'd fall. Perhaps now she might think on me as her other heavy dew. No more she'd have that handsome lad that they call Donahue. For I'm the boy to please her, and I'm the boy to tease her. I'm the boy to squeeze her, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to like an Irish man of the brogue and blarney too, as they done. Rolligan, Stolligan, Holligan, Mulligan, Baldo, Donahue. I hear that Queen Victoria has a daughter fine and grand. Perhaps she'd take it into her head for to marry an Irishman. And if I could only get the chance to have a word or two, I'd soon she'd take a notion in the Baldo, Donahue. For I'm the boy to please her, and I'm the boy to tease her. I'm the boy to squeeze her, and I'll tell you what to do. I'll go to like an Irishman with a brogue and blarney too, as they tell me. Rolligan, Stolligan, Holligan, Mulligan, Baldo, Donahue.
Sit down there, for heaven's sake, and make yourselves comfortable. Oh, I see the bones.
There's life in the old bones yet.
The bonies are coming off already, are they?
You're bloody right, or else you'll be taking me out of here in a sponge.
That's right. Can't stick the heat, huh? I knew you were weak fellas all the same. There's no doubt about it. For four actors, you can certainly turn out a song.
Thank you.
Let's start at the basics. Why are you coming together again, pray, after so long?
Who's going to answer that?
Go ahead, Liam.
I'm the closest. Basically, we're getting together to do a film of a kind of a documentary history of the group before we all become too antique. And we were getting back together in Ireland to do some of the filming. The film will culminate at Avery Fisher Hall on the 20th of May. We should get a load to come over, as a matter of fact, it'd be great. But we'll be filming down the country, down in Carrick, and taking Tommy back to Keady. Yeah. And you very kindly gave us a reason for all coming together ahead of time. And here we are.
It is a notion that we had about 2 years ago in the Late Late Show, but you weren't of a mind to do it then. but now you are. And how long will you stay together this time? Is it just for that one show, or do you...
God willing.
Well, we're just going to do that one big show in New York, and you never know. We might be doing a show here in Ireland if, if we're offered enough money.
Do you mean? Do you mean if you're made to feel
That's
welcome?
right.
Like I see. And what about Australia and Britain and places of
It
that?
could happen.
Very
Tom,
far
I
away.
thought so. Yes, I thought so.
But it's a
Tom.
little doubtful.
Why?
We haven't really thought about that. We don't think that far ahead.
Did you
Well, there
never? Did you never think that far ahead?
Oh, we were in Australia several times.
Oh, I know.
No, game means did we think that far ahead of doing shows in different countries?
Yeah.
I think it'd be lovely, but I can't get these fellas to agree to it.
As far as thinking ahead, when we first took our first engagement out in Chicago in 1958 at a little club called the Gate of Horn, we sat down and wondered among ourselves if we should
We
abandon
had a mass
our various,
meeting, all four of us.
if we should abandon our various careers to go out and do this thing.
Yes.
And we decided at the time, the hell with it, we'll give it 6 months. That was in 1958. So here we are.
Still doing
It's
it.
gone on and on and on. One never knows.
Now that I see Tommy removing the banyan sweater, would somebody tell me something that I wanted to know for a long time? How did the banyan sweater bit start?
We had a manager who saw them, a good Jewish boy from New York. He saw us walking in one very wintry day with him to a rehearsal, and he said, "That's what you'll wear," because we couldn't decide. We had white
Well,
shirts and
how we
jeans.
got them, Gay, is
Blue
our
shirts.
mother, the Clancy's mother, sent over 3 of them to Willie, Paddy, and I.
Yeah.
And I had bought one out of
And
Martin Standon's in
that's-
Galway.
Uh-huh.
Martin, there's a plug for you.
83 years later.
Very good.
And
we wore them. It was winter time.
yes,
And our manager saw them and he said, "That's what I want. I want something to show that you're from Ireland, etc." And
It's what they call in the business now packaging.
right.
He was looking for a package to put us in, you know.
He was a smart boy, wasn't he?
But they were very
certainly was.
unusual at that time, Gay. I mean, very few people had them. I mean, I remember wearing one and people saying, "Where'd you get it? Looks lovely, you know. Was it Norwegian or something?"
Do you ski?
In fact, we were going to do a concert in some place in Connecticut one time, and we got into this taxi, and we had the sweaters tied around our necks, you know. And Tom was looking very burly, and we were talking. The taxi driver kept looking over his shoulder at us. And the address where we were doing the concert was at a gym, you see.
stadium.
Yeah. And he said, "You guys are wrestlers or something?" Well, but he could have been, right?
There was a wrestling team going to do a match at the university in Connecticut that day.
Russian wrestlers.
Yeah, because Gorgeous George was on the train with us. You remember Gorgeous
Oh,
George with
yes,
the
I
blonde?
remember that. The fellow with the big blonde head of
Yeah.
hair and so on.
Tell me this, lads. Now, we've all heard about the Ed Sullivan Show. I'll be darting around the place tonight, trying to figure out how it all started and how it came all together and so on. But the Ed Sullivan Show was the cruncher, wasn't
That's
it?
right, yes,
Yes.
it was.
Tell me about that now. When was it, first of all?
When was it?
It was 1961.
1961, yes.
Yeah.
We were playing down in Greenwich Village in a club called One Sheridan Square with the famous jazz singer Josh White,
Yeah.
blues guitarist and singer. And his manager was a Jewish New York manager who spotted what we were about, but couldn't figure out how he was going to fit us into the business.
Was this Martin?
This
now?
the same
Marty
Marty,
Ehrlich,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So he mulled this over. He figured that we had talent, that there was some kind of excitement there, and he didn't know how to utilize it. So he decided he would put us into an uptown club called the Blue Angel, which is a very, very fancy place. It was one of those places where the walls, instead of wallpaper or paint, they had mattresses on them.
They were upholstered.
You know, nobody in the entire place spoke English.
Not even ourselves.
I remember one night Ava Gardner sitting there, and the manager another night came to us and says, "Gentlemen, please no rebel songs tonight. Edward and Mrs. Simpson are out front."
And they couldn't speak English either.
But they had the good grace to leave before we started doing our thing. But in putting us in there was a kind of a stepping stone onto the Ed Sullivan Show. And that's where the packaging came in.
Yes.
He didn't know what we could wear because we looked like terrible slobs.
Yeah.
And when he saw the 4 sweaters, he said, "That's it. That's it. That's what you're going to wear.
But now, get